Nepal. It is one of the most familiar tunes in Nepal, and the name itself, Mangal Dhun, means auspicious tunes, and it is played during festive and celebratory occasions. So I'd like to leave the stage to these students. Thank you.
Hello, hello, check. Hello, hello, check, check.
Beautiful performance. I am Pooja Shrestha, your master of ceremony for today. Without any delay, I'd like to start the program. So I'd like to propose Dr. Desmardhan Bosnet sir and engineer Ram Rohan Panta sir to be the chairperson of our program today. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause. Dr. Desmardhan Bosnet is the president of World Without Anger and international organizing secretary of this 10th conference. And engineer Ram Rohan Panta sir is the president of Global Peace Foundation Nepal, GPF Nepal, and patron for this 10th conference. Now, I'd like to welcome our various dignitaries to the dais. We have our chief guest for this 10th WWA conference, Professor Dr. Silu Manandar Bajracharya, Vice Chancellor of Nepal Open University. Welcome to the conference, ma'am. Similarly, we also have our special guest for the conference today, Dr. Ashish Sen, Adjunct Professor HRM and OB from Nagpur, India, IIM Nagpur, India. Welcome to the program, sir. So we also have Professor Dr. MP Regmi, Chief Advisor Committee, and he is also the chair of, he's also the chairperson of the Scientific Committee of 10th International Conference today. We have chair of 10th WWA International Conference, Professor Dr. Arhan Stapit. I would also virtually like to welcome Mr. Matt Perelstein. He's the co-founder and CEO of EQ for Peace International Conference, EQ for Peace Worldwide Inc. USA, and he's also the patron for World Without Anger. He's joining us virtually today. Now, I'd like to welcome Professor Dr. Usakiran Subba, former head of Department of Psychology, Trichanda Campus, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. Welcome to the conference, ma'am. Now let's welcome Professor Dr. Subarna Lal Bhattacharya, Professor, Faculty of Management, TU, and visiting professor at Lumbini Buddhist University. Now let's welcome Mr. Manohar Kumar Bhattrai, Board Chairman of Kathmandu Business Campus and Samriddhi Education Foundation, Nepal. Similarly, we have Mr. Mukunda Ras Khanal, Chairman of Bachan Saving and Credit Cooperative Limited, Delhi Bazaar, Kathmandu. Okay, let's welcome him with a big round of applause. We also have Mr. Mukunda Shrestha, Assistant General Manager of Gurkhas Finance Limited. Now, we also have another guest joining us virtually, Dr. Muhammad Ali Khalid, adjunct faculty, MBA and EMBA program of School of Business, Bangladesh. He's joining us virtually. Extremely pleasant to be around these dignitaries today. So let's let's start this program again. I'd like to request KBC volunteers for the distribution of our schedule and badges to our guests. Thank you, volunteers. Now, I'd like to request Dr. Desmordan Basnet, sir, President of WWA and International Organizing Secretary of this conference, to present bouquet to our chief guest. I'd like to request our chief guest to stand up here. Thank you. I would now like to request our president of GPF Nepal to present bouquet to our special guest today, Dr. Ashish Sen. Thank you, and thank you, volunteers. Now let's inaugurate today's ceremony by lighting the auspicious lamp. I'd like to request our chief guest, Professor Dr. Silu Mananda Bhattacharya, ma'am, for the inauguration. Thank you. Now, I'd like to request our volunteers to play national anthem, and I'd like to request everyone to stand up once again.
सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली सायो थुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली प्रकृतिका कोटि कोटि सम्पदाको आचल वीरहरूका राजधानी स्वतन्त्र र अचल ज्ञान भूमि शान्ति भूमि तारै पहाड हिमाल अखण्ड यो प्यारो हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल बहु जाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृति छन् विशाल अग्रगामी राष्ट्र हाम्रो जय जय नेपाल।
Thank you, everyone. Now, without any further delay, I'd like to welcome Professor Dr. Aran Stapit for the welcome speech today.
Honorable Chairperson, we have two chairpersons today, chief guest, chief and special patron of WWA, Vice Chancellor of Nepal Open University, Professor Dr. Silu Mananda Bhattacharya, ma'am, special guests, distinguished personalities on the dais and on the floor, the delegates, participants,
and students from different parts of the world, different countries, journalists, and ladies and gentlemen. I estimate my great privilege and honor to extend to all a warm welcome on behalf of the 10th International Conference Organizing Committee at this scholarly gathering in Kathmandu, Nepal. First of all, I would like to welcome honorable chief guest and all the guests of the function. I would also like to welcome our distinguished keynote speakers who are present here today in person. Professor Dr. Suvarnalal Baldasari sir, my guru. Dr. Ashish Sen, Chairman of Forum of Emotional Intelligence Learning, FEIL India. I also like to heartily welcome our distinguished keynote speakers who will be addressing us virtually. Matt Perlistian, CEO of EQ4 Peace Worldwide USA and Chief Patron of WWA. Then we will also have Dr. Enkeleda Lulaz of University Jeka Peja State of Kosovo, Europe. I would also like to acknowledge with special note the presence of Dr. MP Regmi sir, Professor Dr. MP Regmi sir, Professor Dr. Usha Kiran Subba ma'am, Mr. Manur Kumar Bhattarai, Board Chairman of Samriddhi Foundation, Samriddhi Education Foundation and Kathmandu Business Campus, co-organizer of today's session, program, and CEO of Gorkhas Finance Delhi Bazaar, Mukunda Shrestha sir. I esteem it great privilege to welcome you all to this two-day 10th International Conference here in Nepal, the birthplace of Lord Buddha. In its 10th edition of the WWA conference, it has adopted the theme Emotional Intelligence and Management of Human Resources, Information Technology, Cooperatives, Positive Mental Health for World Peace in the pandemic-affected era. And this theme is apt and relevant. I hope you agree with me. As our society strives to achieve sustainable peace and prosperity, emotional intelligence, it has precedently gained paramount importance as it constitutes an integral part of the management of human resources, management of information and communication technology in this pandemic-affected era. The EI and EI skills have become more indispensable as we move towards the fourth industrial revolution. Technological wonders, including ICT, artificial intelligence, digitalization, robotics, and nanotechnology, and have all compounded their forces with socioeconomic factors to reshape future organizations by offering unprecedented opportunities and challenges to future jobs and role of human resources. An emotionally intelligent human being can contribute to peace building as well as to making business organizations socially responsible and sustainable. It gives me immense pleasure to note that Nepal Open University is the academic partner in this edition of the WWA International Conference also. As the International Conference Chair and a professor representing Nepal Open University, an academic institution of Nepal, I take this opportunity to welcome accomplished professors, erudite scholars, and researchers, practicing psychologists, students, industry professionals from across the world. I feel honored to mention here that there are noted scholars, academicians, and researchers from 11 different countries in this conference. Australia, Bangladesh, Democratic Republic of Congo, India, Kosovo, that is in Central Europe, Malaysia, Nepal, Romania, Thailand, United Kingdom, and the United States of America. In this two-day conference, there are 2 plenary sessions, 1 panel discussion, 11 technical sessions, and over 59 research papers from 11 countries of 5 continents. The continents that are represented in this conference include Australia, Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America. Plus, we have today, tomorrow, a cultural pageant by the students of Kathmandu Business Campus and Samriddhi College, Samriddhi School. One of the items we already observed this morning, the Mangal tune on Jime, that is the ensemble we have observed this morning. I trust this scholarly, all these scholarly papers, deliberations and discussions of these scholarly creative minds at all these formal sessions, as well as informal discussions at the sidelines, will be highly rewarding and fruitful to achieve the very goal of this international conference. I heartily congratulate all the participants to be here in this August scholarly gathering. Finally, I would like to sincerely wish for the grand success of the conference. I also wish all foreign participants a happy and academically rewarding stay here in Kathmandu, Nepal. Warm welcome once again. Thank you, welcome, and thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stapit, sir. And we also have a journal and book release today. Let's go with journal release first. We have WWA Journal Volume 8 of series World Without Anger International Journal, published by WWA and EQ for Peace Worldwide Inc. USA. I'd like to request our chief guest of this program, Professor Dr. Silumanandar Bajracharya, and journal editor Murari Prasad Regmi, sir, to be on the stage. The editors for this journal are Murari Prasad Regmi from Nepal, Albin Wallace from UK, and Antigonus Stokos from UK as well. Thank you. Now for the release of abstract book of the 10th International Conference, I would like to request chief guest of this program and all the dignitaries on our dais to be presented on stage. And I would also like to request our KBC volunteers to coordinate for the same. Now let's move towards an awards function. The first award we have for today is the Dean of International Peace Prize. This award, this prize is an outcome of a long struggle and hardship of Dean of Peace, Dr. Dean van Leuven, to set an example in the world that it is peace that everybody needs to have at this time of anxiety and tension. The person who deserves this award should be someone who has richly contributed in areas such as emotional literacy, peace, positive psychology, and psychosocial well-being anywhere in our world society. So the Dean of International Peace Prize 2020 is awarded to Dr. Asif Sen, Adjunct Professor of IIM Nagpur, India. Dr. Asif Sen is an adjunct professor, HRM and OB at IIM Nagpur. He is ICC certified and PCC level and has worked with thousands of executives, including Fortune 500 companies, on the subject of emotional intelligence. He has delivered talks at L Consortium and Apex Body of Emotional Intelligence, which has Daniel Goleman and Richard Boites as members. He has been recognized for his work on emotional intelligence in India by Daniel Goleman and many others. He teaches emotional intelligence in IIM and TAPMI, leading management institute in India. He is presently working with several large companies with emotional intelligence and leadership inventions. He is member of L Consortium USA, Gallup Strengths Coach and MD of the Asif Sen Consulting and Coaching Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. Let's give him a big round of applause once again. Now I'd like to announce the Dean of International Peace Prize 2021. It is awarded to Dr. Lakshman Sakya, Vice President of World Without Anger, Nepal. Dr. Sakya is a well-known Buddhist philosopher. He has continuously been serving as the organizing coordination committees at WWA International Conference since 2009. He is Vice President of National Sakya Society Nepal, and he is former lecturer of Tribhuvan University and Lumbini Buddhist University. He is Vice President of Bachan Saving and Credit Cooperative Limited as well. I would like to request Professor Dr. Silumananda Bajracharya, Vice Chancellor of Nepal Open University, to present the award. I would like to request Dr. Lakshman Sakya to be on the stage. Now, I would like to request Lakshman Ras Kanal, Chairman of Bachchan Saving and Credit Cooperative Limited, to present check to our DOIPP 2020 awardee, Dr. Asif Sen. Now, I would like to request Mr. Mukunda Shrestha, Assistant General Manager of Gurkhas Finance Limited, to present check to our DOIPP 2021 awardee, Dr. Lakshman Sakya. I would like to extend thanks to Mr. Mukunda Ras Kanal Sir, Chairman of Bachchan Saving and Credit Cooperative Limited, and Mr. Mukunda Shrestha Sir, Assistant General Manager of Gurkhas Finance Limited, for sponsorship. Now, I'd like to request our DOIPP 2020 awardee, Dr. Asif Sen, for short remarks.
Thank you. A very good morning to all of you. Thank you for inviting me. And it's always a pleasure. It's always a privilege. It's a great opportunity to come to the land of peace, the land which is the birthplace of Mr. Buddha himself, of Buddha himself. So I feel myself fortunate. But let me also thank the organizers, Mr. Basnet, the Nepal Open University Vice Chancellor, Ms. Bajra Acharya, and all others for not only inviting me, but giving me a very warm welcome. And I definitely feel at home. This award, which has been given, I'm aware, has been received by people who had very large shoes. So have very large shoes to fill. It's a responsibility that I look forward to. And I have been working on the field of emotional intelligence. We are trying to take it to the masses by now creating curriculums for not only parenting, but for children. Because emotional intelligence, emotional literacy is not the preserve of the few, but the right of many and every one of us to become better human beings, to become better citizens, and to make the world more productive. Thank you again for conferring this award. I feel very, very humble and definitely very, very responsible. Thank you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Assis, sir. Now, I would like to request the Dean of International Peace Prize 2021 awardee, Dr. Shakya, for a short speech.
Namaskar to all of you. I'm very happy today to be with you this morning. And today is the most memorable day for my life, in my life. I have been awarded Peace Award, Dean Dean of International Peace Prize, which is very precious to me. And I think the word peace is the most precious and most important in our human life. If I think sometimes when I meditate, what is the most important thing in our life? I thought and I concluded that peace is the most important thing in human life. Nothing is more important than peace, because if you have lost peace, nothing is important. Yeah. So peace is the most important, I think, and I think it is also with you too. I have been associated with World Without Anger since its beginning, its establishment. Dean Van Leeuwen, the visionary, first visionary, who is very, very inspiring person, not only for America, but for many other countries, including Nepal. As you know, that he has thought that life without anger, it should be. And when this thought came to Nepal, Dr. Desmordan Basnet, now, before he was GM Basnet only, and he thought that, oh, this is very important thought. It should be applied to Nepal society. So he has requested Dr. Dean Van Leeuwen for permission, and he got it very pleasantly. And after that, we have few friends get together and establish society without anger. And after some times, we have thought that, oh, why society without anger only? Why not world without anger? So we registered World Without Anger Association, yeah, social association. After that, we are working very hard, and everybody is happy with us, and they are helping us, coordinating us, cooperating us, including Gorkha Finance and so many others. And I myself was surprised. Oh, this is the right thing to do in the society. Something good, something better, something good for humanity is always welcomed by the society. So I am with this thought and always with thee. And I think you will be also agree with me that peace is the most important thing. And you will also one day will be awarded like me, or like my Dr. Asin Sen, who has come from so far India to Nepal. Nepal and India are very close countries, very close relationship we have. I have got my degree, PhD from India, Magad University. That is, Magad University is in Bodh Gaya. Bodh Gaya is the place where Lord Buddha got enlightenment. Yes, so I am very grateful to India also for making me to up to this position. Yeah, and everybody, I request you to go forward for peace march. Yeah, and whatever position you are, all the here dignitaries, I request all of them personally that please kindly think of peace every day, even for 1 second or 1 minute. That will be very beneficial to your daily life and to your long life as well. With these few words, I would like to conclude and thank all of you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your suggestions. Now, to continue with the award ceremony, I'd like to announce a WWA Visionary Achievement Award 2020, and it is awarded to Mr. Mukundaras Kanal, Chairman of Bachchan Saving and Credit Cooperative Limited, Kathmandu, Nepal. I'd like to request our special guest to present the award to our Sir Mr. Mukundaras Kanal. Now we have another award, a WWA Visionary Achievement Award 2021. It is awarded to Mr. Dipendra Fuyal, Executive Member of Bachchan Savings and Credit Cooperative Limited. We have another award, WWA Volunteer Achievement Award 2020. It is awarded to Mr. Santideep Regmi, Managing Director of People Boat Monthly Magazine. Sad to announce that he is not present here today. So moving on to next award, we have WWA Volunteer Achievement Award 2021. And the awardee is Mr. Anup Aryal, member of World Without Anger. And I'd like to request our special guest to present the award. We have a special request to announce that Mr. Anup Aryal is also an artist. Okay, thank you, everyone. The award ceremony has ended. We have our honorable guest with us today, and we are not letting the opportunity of hearing them go since we have them on our dais here. So I'd like to request Dr. Ashish Sen, adjunct professor, adjunct professor, HRM and OB-IIM Nagpur, special guest of today's conference. I'd like to request him for a short speech again.
Once again, a very good morning. I must thank the organizers. I think there is excitement in the air. There is anticipation in the air. And there are expectations of a wonderful conference that is unfolding. The award ceremony itself speaks about not only the enthusiasm and the zeal that the students, the organizers, the dignitaries here have, but also the kind of energy that the audience displays by applauses and applauding. So we are here in for a great conference. I understand there are a lot of scholars who are presenting papers. In the morning when I came, I was talking to a student who is studying at Kathmandu, and he talked about his research on intrinsic motivation and how it can pay off to the organization. I thought that the themes that you have set up, emotional intelligence and HRM, at the end of the day, in this era, in a market capitalization scenario, 85% of the market capitalization comes not from the tangibles, not from your land, not from your location, not from money in the bank, but comes from intangibles. And human beings, your employees, are the biggest intangible that you can have. And unlike machines, human beings are not very predictable. Sometimes they work very well, sometimes they don't function well. The reason is how motivated, how energized, how happy, how emotionally satisfied and fulfilled they are. Organizations, therefore, like any other resource, must learn to focus more on this resource. And the way they can focus on that resource is creating better climates and better workplaces. So your theme of human resource management and emotional intelligence is a critical theme plaguing and interesting the world today. I congratulate the organizers for selecting that wonderful theme. Second is, I thought positive mental health. Again, we know stress kills. In fact, COVID was one of the biggest stressors. The number of people stressed out went up multiple times, almost 5 to 6 times the average. That is a sure shot killer. And at that point of time, positive mental health became so important. How you think became so important. It was always. But which better country to discuss it in than Nepal, where the world was gifted by the concept of mindfulness by Buddha himself. They called it at that time sati in Pali, which means awareness and mindfulness. Awareness and mindfulness is not aligned to this land, is integral to Nepal. I from India feel blessed and also bring warm tidings from the country with a very huge namaste to see that all of us together can co-create knowledge, can learn from each other, and can enhance the peace quotient in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sen. Now, I'd like to request Professor Dr. Silu Manandar Bhattacharya, chief guest of this conference, for a short speech.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chairperson of the 10th International Conference on Emotional Intelligence and Management of Human Resources, Information Technology, Cooperatives, and Positive Mental Health for All Peace in the Pandemic Affect Era. A special guest, Dr. Ashish Sen, Mr. Paul Stan, co-founder and patron of WWA, who is watching virtually, and distinguished personalities on the dais, professors, keynote speakers, research scholars, teachers, students, and the staffs. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to the organizers for providing me with an opportunity to share some of my stray thoughts in these extremely important deliberations on emotional intelligence and management of human resources. The issues, albeit diverse and a little bit too many, are all the needs of the day and highly relevant. Further, I would like to congratulate all the awardees, Professor Ashish Sen, Dr. Laxman Sakya, Mr. Mukundaraj Khanal, Mr. Dipendra Fial, and Mr. Sandeep Regmi for their invaluable contributions in various dimensions like peace, happiness, and the positive attitude. Despite our and many other similar-minded institutions and individuals putting on laudable efforts to tackle grave issues like mental health, poverty, unemployment, stress, and various other ailments and distractions. It is sad to note that we are engulfed with more and more problems and challenges, jeopardizing peace, happiness, and mental health in the modern day world. The ongoing conflict in Europe is a sad reflection of it that has the potential to decimate all our achievements so far, not only in peace, but every aspect of human life. And the pandemic is not yet over, and we have had to face this unwarranted challenge. And my worry on the onset of winter is that the European may have to suffer sans the decreasing energy supply and the skyrocketing prices of energy. The scenarios should be unfolding soon, and we may be left as mere spectators, unable to do anything to address the challenge. And the global peace is at perils, and the challenges emanating from the current confrontations may be unsurmountable. I'm not trying to sound alarming, but the result of anger, the most undesirable of the human tenets of a few, is simply defying the world order, leading to chaos, confusions, and instability, meaning that they are bent to destroy our efforts and achievements. And this is where I believe carefulness, which I don't think captured the true meaning of samprajanyata, argued for in by many religions and by many philosophers, and particularly highly emphasized in Buddhism, needs to be practiced, promoted, and inculcated among every single human being. Looking back At the development of events, probably time has come to revamp our education system and the educating process. Yes, we have achieved success in many fronts, broken the unthinkable barriers, and progressing in economic, social, technological, scientific fronts at a geometric pace. But can we claim to have become happier or peace? The answer would be a big no. With becoming more greedy, more dissatisfied, impatient, and obstinate, with individualized and materialistic orientation. Children from early ages have started to feel the effects of mental health, posing great challenge to the humanity that raises serious questions about the future, the gaps between haves and the have-nots have risen alarmingly, and the poverty alleviation is still a dream in many countries, with persistent deprivation and inequality. The strategy to address these challenges will have to be twofold: metamorphosing the education system, integrating it with the responsibility, accountability, high moral, and apt values, capability of doing and delivering. And secondly, there should be equity in the distribution of resources, ensuring human freedom. Concerted and continuous effort, reaching one and all, will be required. Along with, we must posit a brave posture, standing firmly against the ill wills, disturbances, and negative attitude at all levels, thus isolating the distractors, leading them to repent or face consequences, and the part of peace, happiness, and the betterment for all. Again, quoting Mahayana and the Vajrayana Buddhism, working towards the upliftment of all sentient beings. And this is the claim or call I want to make now, to dedicate towards these ends of peace, happiness, dedication, mindfulness, productivity, and responsibility. The importance of management in the perspectives becomes all the more necessary, not only to exploit resources, but to do so in a sustainable manner so that they could be preserved for future generations eternally, and refraining from ignoring their needs, consuming irresponsibly, and in a wasteful manner. Equity in access and use of resources is another dimension where policies alone will not work, and will have to be integrated with proper implementation and management to benefit all. And the management courses we are launching so far may be inadequate to encapsulate these issues and need the entire education system and structure, hence, needs to be thoroughly reviewed and restructured to inculcate the abilities that I have uttered earlier. Ultimately, it is developing right kind of human resources, having abilities, and inculcating attitude to work by being part of the solution, being responsible and accountable. So the need of time is putting on real efforts rather than talking, committing rather than pretending, and encompassing all rather than working alone. And we have to work so far. The problem persists without being tired or losing heart. And let us be mindful and lead towards these changes continuously, ignoring the challenges and obstacles that will continue to erupt. Finally, I would like to thank all agencies involved in creating a platform for this wonderful deliberations, and I wish a total success of your endeavors and initiative. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another dignitary in our dais today. I'd like to welcome Professor Dr. M.P. Regmi, Chairman of Chairman of International Scientific Committee of 10th WWA International Conference.
Thank you very much. Respected chief guest of this program, Professor Dr. S. Manandhar Bhadracharya, Peace Prize holder, Dr. Ashish Sen, is an adjunct professor of IIM Nagpur, India. I am a product of Nagpur, Nagpur University, my MA degree in psychology. Yes, long ago. And Peace Prize holder, Dr. Lakshman Sakya, recipient of WWA Achievement Award of 2020 to Mr. Mukunda Raj Khanal. Furthermore, WWA Visionary Achievement Award of 2021 is awarded to Mr. Dipendra Phuyal, of executive member of Bachan Saving and WWA Volunteer Achievement 2022 is awarded by special guest to Mr. Kantideep Regni, Managing Director, People Vote Monthly Magazine. Furthermore, I welcome to all participants of this conference coming from Nepal, India, Kosovo. Yeah, I thank Kosovo, which is in Europe. Professor Dr. Arhana Sthapit, Professor Dr. Usha Kiran Subba, Mr. Manandhar Manohar Bhattacharya, thank you. Mr. Muhammad Ali Khalid, and Bangladesh Engineer Ram Mohan Pant sir. So thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you, Professor Regmi, sir. Now, I'd like to request Mr. Manohar Kumar Bhattrai, Board Chairman of Kathmandu Business Campus and Samriddhi Education Foundation, for a speech.
Namaste and good morning to you all. Uh, Chairpersons of this event, I guess we have two chairpersons. Dr. Des Mardan Basnet, he is the president of WWA and International Organizing Secretary of 10th Conference, and Engineer Ram Mohan Panta, President, Global Peace Foundation. And Professor Dr. Shilu Manandar Bajacharya, our chief guest of the event, and she's the Vice Chancellor of Nepal Open University. Dr. Ashish Sen, Adjunct Professor, Human Resource Management in OB, IIM Nagpur, India, who is our special guest of the event. Professor Dr. M.P. Ragmi, Chief Advisor, Advisory Committee, WWA. Professor Dr. Arhan Estafet, Chair 10th WWA Conference. Professor Dr. Usha Kiran Subba, I don't know if she's here. Yes, is former head, Department of Psychology, Trichandra Campus, Tribhuvan University. And I understand that some of our guests who are joining from overseas, especially Dr. Muhammad Ali Khalid, adjunct faculty, MBA, EMBA program, School of Business, Bangladesh. And we also have Mr. Matt Perlstein, co-founder, CEO, EQ for Peace Worldwide, also joining virtually from the United States. So I'd like to welcome you all in this event, those who are present here physically and those who are joining us virtually. Now, on behalf of Kathmandu Business Campus, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of our distinguished guests and participants here in this hall this morning, and those of you joining virtually from overseas. It is indeed a great honor for us to be one of the co-organizers of this very important conference. I must say, and I cannot stress this enough, I must say the theme of the event is perfectly aligned with the guiding philosophy that we have embraced in running this educational institution. We're talking about Kathmandu Business Campus and also Samriddhi Education Foundation. There's a set of philosophies that we have adopted, and the theme of today's conference, I must say, it's perfectly aligned with the philosophy that we have adopted in trying to run this institution. Our beliefs are anchored in the shared conviction that intelligence alone cannot explain achievement at work or in life. It is now a proven observation that close to 90% of success in leadership and leadership positions is attributable to emotional intelligence, EI, signifying a departure from seemingly disproportionate emphasis given to academic achievement. Of course, academic achievement is important, and that's where you learn things and where you create knowledge. But then again, that is not complete in terms of trying to come up with a well-rounded personality, well-rounded achievers. So I think this is in line with what we have been stressing all along. And I understand that I will not make my presentation remarks long, but then again, I must, when I was going through the schedule of the program, I can see that there's this interesting lineup of presentations. So covering many topics around the issue of global peace and emotional intelligence and all. So we look forward to very productive set of presentations. And I take a special note, going through the theme of the conference, this interesting reference to IT, information technology. So I was finding it a little bit difficult as to how can you articulate the linkage between emotional intelligence and IT, all that. But then again, when you come to think of it seriously, especially if you think about the things happening in the area of digital technology and information technology, and to tell you the truth, I remain very passionate about these areas, especially AI, artificial intelligence. I keep asking myself this question as to what happens to human agency when you delegate the decision-making role to an AI algorithm. So what happens is machines start making decisions to him, emotional intelligence and our agency as a human being. So these questions also remain very interesting and dear to my heart as when I work on information technology policies and things like that. So I think this it will be interesting to see as to how speakers ended up articulating the linkages between what's happening in the digital and virtual space to the area of human agency and emotional intelligence and all that. Before I finish, I like to stress the fact that we remain committed to mainstream EI in the ways we conduct pedagogy and deliver education here at KBC and Samriddhi Education Foundation. Along those lines, we wish to sustain our efforts to deepen our engagement with organizers of this today's event and EI Sport Network at large. I was having a discussion with Dr. Aaron Stavit a few minutes ago as to how we can walk the talk. No, I mean, it's a good idea to express the intent and a good idea to, I think looks like these goals are worth pursuing, but how can you operationalize that in the day-to-day activities of the college, school, and in the way you carry out educational activities? So what are the key takeaways that we could implement in our educational settings going forward? So in that connection, we will be interested in maintaining more deeper engagement with the EI community at large and with the organizers of today's event. So we want to take it further and we really want to walk the talk and we really want to see things happening in the ground because I think at the end of the day, some of the speakers have already mentioned about the challenge that we'll be facing going forward. There will be so many disruptions that will come along our way, and that will impact our socio-psychological makeup big time. So how can you prepare our students for that kind of future where there will be disruption and there will be issues, there will be lots of stress. We know economy as we know it will change. Job situation as we know it will change. And some of the speakers have already mentioned about some of the threats in the horizon with a war going on and environmental change, irreversible environmental changes that we're going to face and all that. So in the face of all that, how can we engage more productively with our students so they end up being well-rounded and emotionally intelligent and fit students to tackle the threat that they will be posing in the near future. Once again, thank you very much for being here this morning on behalf again of Kathmandu Business Campus and Samriddhi School. And I wish you a very successful event. And last but not least, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the awardees. I think that was something, and once again, we're really honored to host you here this morning on behalf of KBC, and especially to our guests from overseas. I think you're from India, Sidji. So I think you have a interesting time here in Nepal, and we'll have more time to share ideas going forward. Once again, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you all.
Thank you, Manohar sir. Always a pleasure hearing from you. Now, we'd like to welcome Professor Dr. Usakiran Subba, former head of Department of Psychology at Trichandra campus, for her speech. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause.
Namaste. I'm invited to speak without topic of speech. Today, 10th International Conference conducted with the mission of World Without Anger. then I think, then why don't I speak the emotion anger? Literally, it is negative feeling. I think there is a overwhelming informations about anger when you browse it, and participating esteem egos are more knowledgeable than me. So I decide to share my point of view on it, articulating my experience, determinations, and learned lesson. Anger has a negative connotations associated with hostile thoughts, arousing physiology, and maladaptive behavior. It energizes to retaliate and provoke thought of revenge. Interestingly, but I look up its positive sides. In the recent times, I'm tired of listening, thinking positively. In my point of view, it is possible when you take anger positively, it can make you a way to express your negative feeling and motivate you to find out the solution to the problem. Anger is the part of biological history. It had survival value in the past, and in the present, some positives. In the present, it has some positiveness. Can you imagine the world with no anger? I'm sorry, because I have some bad cough. Can you imagine a world with no anger? Healthier and some milder level of irritation and annoyance add a spice to daily existence, and people enjoy that. Even fighting for peace, Mahatma Gandhi, my ideal, made fighting as a positive affairs, requiring a great skills and efforts on the part of conflicting parties. He believed anger to be an art that can be learned and practiced effectively. To Gandhi, each fight has a therapeutic effect. Now I remember a derogative language used by my mathematics teacher when I could not solve the given task. इतना भी नहीं कर सकती हो तो चुल्लू भर पानी में नाक रगड़ कर मर जाओ. It provokes me so intense anger, and that time I determined I never learn from him, but I solved my problem with the help of manual, working out rigorously. From that day, my learning style had changed to trial and error. So I do the same. Here I remember Mr. Arun Gandhi, grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. Once he said, my grandfather saw my anger as a fuel for change. Further, I add my bitter experience when being diagnosed cancer with metastasis. I became furious when I have got the report. But later I accept it. During the course of treatment and working with the patients, cancer patients, and I worked a lot of things like my initiation, they started a psychosocial counseling unit even. I worked for them for their betterment, and my negative feelings are expressed to writing blocks as a tips for the others. Finally, I leave with a space to listen today's and tomorrow papers related to anger and think about it. I wish a good day. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I'd like to request Dr. Muhammad Ali Khalid, Adjunct Faculty MBA and EMBA program at School of Business, Bangladesh. He is joining us virtually.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Yes,
can
sir.
you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, just give me few minutes time. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, good. So good morning, everybody. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Silu Manandhar Bajracharya, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Nepal Open University, Dr. Ashish Sen, Adjunct Professor, HRM and OB, IIM, Nagar, India, Professor Dr. Aran Stapik, Management and Law, Nepal Open University. Professor Dr. M.P. Regmi, Chief Advisor, WWA and 10th International Conference, WWA Nepal. President and CEO, Mr. Matt Palestine, EQ4 Peace Worldwide Incorporated, USA. Dr. Desmardhan Basnet, President and Founder, World Without Anger, Nepal. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very, very good morning to everyone. Very sorry that I couldn't remember everybody's name or manage. So sorry for that. Apologize for the inconvenience caused. So thank you everybody, senior professors, lecturers, honored participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as well the students. This is indeed the great pleasure for me to be with you virtually here today on the occasion of 10th International Conference of World Without Anger in Kathmandu, Nepal. To other honored guests, to a number of pioneers that we have in the room here who have come to share their knowledge and thoughts with us. I would like to recognize just a few from other countries, from India. I really do sincerely thank all of you for joining us here for the 10th International Conference on Emotional Intelligence and Management of HR, Information Technology, Cooperatives, and Positive Mental Health of World Peace in the Pandemic Effective Era. It really is a huge pleasure for all of us, I think, to be here in Kathmandu, Nepal, to make a grand success of WWA conference for future development strategy.
Mohammed sir, can I interrupt you for a second, please?
Please,
If
please.
possible, could you please open your camera?
Oh, I see. Okay, that's yeah, possible. Okay.
Thank you.
Is it all right? Okay. Okay, have some. Okay, no matter. The microphone is muted. Just now. Okay. Is it all right now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I repeat again, I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to the WWA President, Dr. Desmardhan Basnet, for organizing this conference along with his team, technical experts, to explore on the subject topic, sharing knowledge and experiences, which are contributed by the experts and professionals from different corners of the world. In this conjunction, I would like to share some of my thoughts. So I want to share. I remember those days, 2014. I attended in WWA conference. That was my first conference in Kathmandu, Nepal. I met Dr. Basnet and other people. Dr. Arhan also invited me to speak something to a college. And I remember a few others, Lakshman Sakya. I mean, it was excellent. I enjoyed a lot. So this time I planned to go, but unfortunately I couldn't attend there due to my preoccupied in my current assignment. However, it's a very, very pleasure that you all senior resource person, professors across the world attended. And my friend, Mr. Matt Palestine, he also virtually attended, who encouraged me all the time. He also wrote me here, please open your video. So, and I had a chance also to make a lot of about more than 60 international webinars related to mental health during the lockdown, during the pandemic. So Mr. Matt inspired me, and whenever I talk to him, would you please attend? It was no problem for me, 24 hours, anytime at your convenience. It's really, and Basnet also attended, Dr. Vasnet ji, and also Professor Dr. Arhan also encouraged me. Tulsi Bande, some other from Nepal, India also a lot of people joined. More than 50, I think, maybe around 100 webinars I conducted myself as an organizer or something like that, along with my team. So however, I don't want to mention a lot of things already. Basnet gave me only 2 minutes, but I speak already maybe 5 minutes. I don't know. To end my speech, please allow me to wish you all the best for your presence in the conference. I particularly wish to distinguish guests. To make that progress, we all need to keep listening and keep learning, and importantly, to take action with that. That we gain. Thanks to all of our colleagues, friends, to provide me an opportunity to be with you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We also have Mr. Matt Perelstein, co-founder and CEO of EQ for Peace Worldwide Inc. USA, joining us virtually. I'd also like to request him for a speech.
Certainly. Hello. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for having me. I very much wish I could be there. Last time when we did the 9th conference, I was there with y'all, and I loved it. I had a wonderful time, one of my best times of my life, and I'm very honored to still be here with you and with such a great group. We are trying toward peace. We are moving toward peace with emotional intelligence, and very much appreciate that this conference is helping us move in that direction because we need it so badly, as a couple of people have said. I want to specifically acknowledge DM and Arhan for putting on this event, and Laxman. I'm sure it was very difficult. There was so much work that went into it. I was thinking about it today that you're having to work with all of the problems of a live event and all of the problems of a virtual event, and trying to do them together and work them smoothly. And it looks like it's going very well. So congratulations on that. I also wanted to congratulate Dr. Sen and Laxman also for winning the Dean of International Peace Prize. I was awarded this prize in 2019. I was very honored by that. And I am also the co-founder. We are the co-founders, Dr. Dean and I were co-founded our nonprofit EQ for Peace. And so I have very big shoes to fill. That's one of the reasons I'm here, and how we know DM and some of you. He was a very big fan of Nepal. He was a very big proponent of the work that you are doing. And he spoke so highly of you. I was very excited to see you. Unfortunately, he passed away right before the conference, just a couple of months before the conference in 2019, before COVID's, when I was there. So I had to come and fill his big shoes, as Dr. Sen said. So I'm still trying to do that now. I'm still trying to do that. So it's going well, but it's a lot. I wish he was here to work with us. He had a wonderful way with people. He had a wonderful ability to work peace in and concepts about how we can do peace. I've been doing emotional intelligence for 35 years now, but I didn't know about peace, or I didn't use it as a guide for us, and I am now, and it's working very well. We have inner peace first, right inside of us. We have interpersonal peace between us. We have social peace that we can learn among us. And maybe someday, if enough of us know how to do peace, maybe we can have big peace, world peace, right? So hard to prove, but we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a try. And I appreciate that all of you are working in the same direction, because we certainly need as much help as we can get, right? So the good news is that emotional intelligence is skyrocketing right now. The demand is going up. As Dr. Sen said and Dr. Arhan, it is going well in that department. But the reason it's going well, the reason it's going well is because of so many problems, so many problems. There's so many problems in the world, as you know. Economy, economic problems, financial problems, people getting along with each other problems, war problems, geographic problems, all kinds of things. And what we found is that the more problems that there are, the more challenges that we have, the harder things get, the more important emotional intelligence is. The worse it gets, the more important that EQ is. It used to be a nice skill to have, to be able to be in touch with your emotions and be able to have a good relationships and such, and that's nice. Now, however, starting with COVID's, it's become even more important, and it is now a critical life-saving need. It's a need to have. It's not a nice to have anymore. It's gone up and increased in urgency and priority. So I'm very glad that we'll be able to spread the word more about emotional intelligence. I have been in big demand lately, my speaking, which is wonderful, especially in universities and schools in Nepal, in India, in Bangladesh, in UK, in Africa, etc. Even some in the United States, even some were a little behind in that department, but the universities and the colleges are very interested in learning. They know that they don't know about emotional intelligence and are interested in finding out more. I personally have spoken to 19 different universities so far. In fact, Dr. Khalid has another one coming up for us that he is introducing me to. So we are having fun together, spreading the word about emotional intelligence worldwide. And so I'm honored to be able to speak to so many and to enlighten folks in emotional intelligence and moving toward peace and positive mental health. We've come up with a new term about positive mental health, right? Mental health is the need of the hour. There's a lot of problems, but it has kind of a negative connotation to it. But we can spin it. We're spinning it more positive because we're saying that the more that you learn about how to handle your mental health, the better you can do. The better you can do. We can do better. We don't just have to fix the problems. We can actually improve and be loving and peaceful and kind and gentle folks by learning more about how to handle our emotional intelligence and our mental health. So thank you for the speaking opportunities. There's one of the latest ones was at Andhra University in southern India. They have a new Gandhi Peace Study Center. Gandhi Peace Study Center. There are divisions or chapters all over apparently, and so I'm being able to work with them, and I'm excited about that. Doing workshops there, etc., on emotional intelligence also. And Dr. Sabu just mentioned about Gandhi's work with anger, and which is one of my specialties, one of my favorite subjects, one of the workshops that I did when I was there in 2019. And he wrote a fantastic book called The Gift of Anger, which it sounds like you've read also. I highly recommend it, about how Gandhi used emotional intelligence to work toward peace by working with it partially with anger. So I wish you all the best. Thank you again for having me. I wish you all peace and love and joy, and take care. Have a good conference. I will see you again. We have other things to work with. So I'm done.
Thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure having you on the 9th conference, and we definitely miss your presence and your energy on the physical event today. Now, for the vote of thanks, I would like to request Engineer Ram Rohan Panta, President of GPF Nepal, to be here.
Namaste. It's my great honor to be with you physically after it's moreover after 2 years, right? If things goes normal, that could be 12th international conference, but due to COVID, it was postponed. It's also a bit of celebration of peace, celebration of our brotherhood, sisterhood, our friendship. Let me be more formal. Our chairperson of this program, our chief guest, Professor Dr. Shilumananda Brajacharya. I also like to thank you for her presence in this program. Also, our special guest, Dr. Ashish Sen, our very much senior person. Also, I think he's very much young person, not by age, but he's enthusiast. Dr. MP Regmi. Also, our Manor sir, Professor Usha ma'am, profound speech, very much inspired from her. Virtually joining this event from Bangladesh, Dr. Mohammed, Matt Peterson, also our Suvarna sir. I'd like to thank you for their presence, physically presence here. Also, our international delegates, national delegates, for your presence. We already hear many inspiring word speech from our previous speaker. Just I'd like to add a few words regarding peace, regarding my lifelong experience. So to achieve peace, we all need to contribute. It doesn't matter our position, our age, or our economic status, right? So we need to be more giving type of, we need to be more in giving position than receiving. We need to contribute in whatever scale, depend our situation. So that's what I learned for my lifelong journey. So this training, this workshop, this convening, all going to prepare us how we could understand each other, how we could be more giving partiality than receiving. So let's go in our own life journey as we are given this freedom to experience in our life. So let's go further. Hope in coming days we could be more able to contribute this lifelong journey to achieving peace. Thank you very much for your all presence. I'd like to request all of you to be thankful to each other. I'm not here by myself. I'm here due to contribute of another person or another individual. Let's thank to each other. Please be face wherever you're sitting down here to each other, and from your bottom of heart, please thank to him. To greet by Nepali Namaste. That means I salute to divinity inside you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram sir, for your words. Now, for concluding remarks, I'd like to request Dr. Desmardhan Basneth, founder president of World Without Anger, to be here.
Namaste. It is my inner pleasure to address this August gathering on the auspicious occasion of 10th International Conference, Emotional Intelligence and Management of Human Resources, Information Technology, Cooperatives, and Positive Mental Health for World Peace in the Pandemic-Affected Era. My and on behalf of World Without Anger, sincere thanks go to Professor Dr. Shilumananda Brajacharya, Vice Chancellor, Nepal Open University, accepting our request for being a chief guest of the program and followed by all the respected dignitaries in the dais. I'm very much grateful to Dr. Ashish Sen, India, who has accepted our invitation to be a special guest of honor in the 10th International Conference. His presence will be of contributing wider knowledge of emotional intelligence, who is closely working with Dr. Daniel Goleman. I could not forget to take a name pioneer personality, Dr. Dean Van Leeuwen, a former chief patron of World Without Anger, who showed this path of being happiness and joyous in every walks of our life. The main highlights of the conference is all about emotional intelligence. Thus, the emotional intelligence has been popular in the Western and European countries in these days. It provides that they are preferring collectivism society rather than individualism society in life. As the Nepal is the collectivistic culture country, so we can develop cultures of emotionally intelligent people and the country. Emotional intelligence is a very important and relevant subject to any discipline for making a people and organization wisely and socially responsible and sustainable growth of society. The area of emotional intelligence education is growing in the world. Society in this regard, United Nations has already declared EI and EQ as the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG, to ensure that all people of the world enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. Since 2007, World Without Anger has been delivering the various activities related to emotional intelligence education in school level to university level students. The World Without Anger has already initiated researches using Life Without Anger, LWA, emotional scale in Nepalese students developed by Dr. Dean Van Leeuwen, USA. WWA and EQ for Peace Worldwide International, USA are collaborating to implement Life Without Anger emotional education program in more schools across Nepal, India, and many more countries in the world. WWA and EQ for Peace Worldwide International, WWA is jointly publishing WWA International Journal Poll 8. I would like to congratulate to all the paper contributors and the editorial boards published successfully World Without Anger International Journal Poll 8. My special thanks go to Chief Editor, Professor Murari Prasad Regmi. He's also my guru. Likewise, Associate Editor, Dr. Alvin Weiles, UK, and Dr. Antigona Sokos, UK. WWA has honored the great visionaries in the field of emotional intelligence, Dr. Ashish Sen, India, by the Dean of International Peace by DOIPP 2020, and another great personality in the field of Buddhism, Dr. Lasman Sakya, Nepal, deserved by the Dean of International Peace Prize 2021. I, and on behalf of WWA family, would like to congratulate for deserving by the award as a vision given by Dr. Dean Van Leeuwen. WWA is not a profit-making organization, so everyone are doing volunteer and contributing their knowledge, expertise, and resources since its inception. So I, and on behalf of WWA family, express sincere appreciation to Mr. Naresh Prasad Shrestha, who is also my guru in Sankardev campus. Group CEO, Samriddhi Educational Foundation, and the principal of Kathmandu Business Campus, KBC, for sponsoring all the expenditure of the 10 International Conference. Another unforgettable personality, Professor Dr. Arun Stapit, Chair, 10 International Conference, playing a role model to make this historical and unforgettable event. Last but not the least, my humble and sincere thanks go to all the 59 papers contributors in and around the globe to build this earth and academically and beautifully sound. The inaugural session is ended up and other program will be continued. Thank you very much and namaste.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request our chairpersons for today, Dr. Desmardhan Basnet and Engineer Ram Rohan Panta, sir, to provide token of appreciation to our chief guest, Professor Dr. Silumananda Bhattacharya. Thank you. Now we'll have a breakfast break for 20 minutes and we'll be back for plenary session. Keynote speaker and Dr. Encolada Lula from Europe, who will be joining us virtually. Now, I'd like to hand over my mic to our session chair, Professor Dr. Utakiran Subba.
So time when you welcome them, so time so you can say to the mother and time कति दिने हो translate
15 minutes.
Hello. Welcome all to the second session. It is a preliminary session. I think it's the first. I welcome this session, the keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Subarnalal Bajracharya, Nepal, Dr. Ashish Sen in India, and the third one, Dr. Ekleda Luja, Kosovo, Europe, but it is virtual session. And I would like to mention the time limit given by the organizer. Each participant can speak only 10 minutes. It is the time limitation for the presentation. Please keep your time and speak loudly. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the plenary session 1 and the paper presenter and the students of the college. Thank you very much for inviting me as the keynote speaker. Only 10 minutes time had been given for me. See, the program, the conference is about the human resource management. You can see the emotional intelligence, the cooperative, and positive mental health, and peace, and so many things. And considering the title of the conference, this time I had developed my keynote speaking as the Visuddhi Marga for Peace and Sustainable Development. We will be discussing on the Visuddhi Marga for Peace and Sustainable Development. See, when we talk about the Visuddhi Marga, see, without talking about the peace, without talking about the Buddhist philosophy, I hope this session will not be complete. It doesn't mean that we will be discussing all the Buddhist teaching and we will be promoting the Buddhism. No, this is not the fact. But in Buddhism, all these things had been covered very widely. And when we talk about the management, even the management science that has been taught by Buddha 2,500 years before, the management science, it has been developed just 100 years back, 150 years back. whatever development that today we can see is the matter of the 200 years. And we forget the contribution of the Buddha, that had been made 2,500 years back. Therefore, my intention is just to remember the work of the Buddha. And, in all my speech, I try to incorporate the Buddhist philosophy. And today also, I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of Buddhist philosophy, that is Visuddhi Marga. See, when we talk about the Visuddhi Marga, actually the Visuddhi Marga, this term has been coined by Buddha Ghosh after 1,000 years of the death of the Buddha. Means on the 5th century, probably on the 5th century. Because, he was a very learned fellow. Actually, he was the person, well versed with the Veda. And later on, he studied the Buddhism. He studied, and he became the Buddhist monk later on. And he studied all the Tripitaka of Buddha in Sri Lanka. And he prepared a commentary called the Visuddhi Marga. And in this Visuddhi Marga, whole Buddhist teaching, that is 84,000, 84,000 discourses. He just concised that, in 3 main headings. When we talk about the Visuddhi Marga, it covers Sila, Samadhi, and Pragya. The whole Buddhist teaching had been concised in 3, Sila, Samadhi, and Pragya. Now, our talks, and especially my talks, is, how can we link the Sila, Samadhi, and Pragya, for maintaining the world peace, and to evaluate the development, whatever development today that we have, that is the technical development, the scientific development, all the, sort of development, the agricultural development, the political, whatsoever we call it, is that really sustainable? That is what we want to evaluate from the perspective of the Visuddhi Marga. Because, in English, the Visuddhi Marga is the part of purification. Part of purification means how do we purify ourselves? We are suffering. Today, look at the situation. Everybody is suffering today. All the countries are suffering simply because there is a war between 2 countries. That's all. We don't know. I don't want to take the names. There is a war of the 2 countries. Might be they might have the, political, they might have the economic conflict, political conflict. We don't know. Forget. But look at the effect. The whole world had been, affected because of that war. And there is a threat. Every time, all the people, they are very sensitive. They are looking at them that, will there be the world war after this? Will some country will use the missile? Now they are using the missile. Now there is other big missiles, to break the world war. Will other big countries will involve in that? And what will be the effect to us? Because we don't have anything. Nothing we have. Nothing, we can use to kill the people. But, we will be the victim. And like us, there are many, many people, many, many countries, they will be victim because of the interest of the few countries. Therefore, my question is, what is development we had made? Is that sustainable now? If that development kill us, if that development destroy this world, if this development will destroy the whole human being, will that be sustainable? Do we call that development sustainable? That is the main question. Therefore, how can we make the development sustainable? And that is possible only through the peace. Now, how can we maintain the peace? How can we achieve the peace? Unless and until we are peaceful, unless and until we have the peace in our mind, the world peace cannot be imagined. This is the peace of each individual. Therefore, how can we get that? And for that, we should have to follow the discourses, the teachings of Buddha, in 3 headings. That is Sila, Samadhi, and Pragya. How can I change this slide? Where should I show? Can you change from there? Say, before I go to, before I go to the 3, things, Sil, Samadhi, and Pragya. Now I will discuss a little bit about the Chitta. Chitta means, it's a mind. In every religion, we have the discussion about the mind. 5 senses we have: the eyes, the nose, the ear, the mouth, the body, the skin. These 5 senses, it will not be active unless and until we have the 6th sense, that is the Chitta, that is the mind. If we control our mind, now we can control all these 5 senses. Therefore, this is the mind which governs, which gives you the peace. It is not your eye, it is not all these 5 senses, but the 6th sense, the last 6th sense, that is the mind, that is the Chitta, from where we can be peaceful. Therefore, this can be said, then we can define it in awareness. There are 121 Chitta, actually 89 Chitta that has been listed by Buddha, and in extended version it is 121. 121 type of minds that we have. And out of 121 minds, only 12 minds are a Kusala Chitta. Rest are all the Kusala Chitta. See, only 12. But that 12, because we can't control that 12 Akusala Chitta, evil mind, we are losing our peace of mind. And besides 121 Chitta, there are other 52, subconscious mind also. The Buddha had classified it, but, if we can control simply the 12 Chitta, we can maintain the peace in our life. And that will lead, if you are peaceful, if I'm peaceful, why do we fight each other? If these people is big countries, the head of these big countries who are ready to fight every time with the missiles and all the things, if they have the Kusala Chitta, they will never fight. They will go for the, reconciliation of all the, misunderstanding. They will not fight, but they don't have that Kusala Chitta. It has been governed by that 12 Akusala Chitta. And they are ready to fight each other all the time, they are excited to fight and kill, each other. Now, the question is, if there is no peace, whatever achievement they had achieved up to now, the scientific development, is that sustainable? Is that sustainable? This is the question. Now, therefore, without peace, nothing will be sustainable. That is the conclusion. Now, please, next slide. Next slide, please. Move, move, move. Okay, I have only a few minutes. See, virtue, it's a seal, the first thing. What is seal? What is seal? Simply, it's a discipline. It's a discipline. And Buddha had given a very simple, 5 precepts. If we maintain that 5 precepts, we will be in a position to maintain the seal. We will be disciplined. These 5 precepts are, next slide, please. See, not to kill, not to steal, no sexual misconduct, not to lie, no intoxication. Simple. It is difficult. This is not difficult. No, if we want to maintain, no, it's not difficult. Why do we kill others? Why? Why do we kill them? They have also life like ours. Why do we kill them? They also have the right to survive. Why do we snatch their life? It is simply because they are weak. Therefore, this we should be very conscious, and we should maintain this, not to steal. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Can I go to next slide, please? And samadhi means equanimity. That is, we should have to have concentrate, meditate. If we can concentrate, if we can maintain, if we can control our mind, then only whatever sila we had, we are performing, that will be, valid. Therefore, we should be, we should have the samadhi. Please go to the next slide because I have no time. And next is the prajna, that is wisdom. All these things can be achieved only when we have the wisdom. Means the Buddha, he ultimately said that, only the ignorance, because of the ignorance, all these, problems had been raised. Therefore, the ignorance is the main thing, and that ignorance that we can wipe it out, because of the wisdom. And we should be very mindful, wise enough. We should have to learn a lot of things. We should be able to listen to each other. And, mainly what we should have to do is, we should respect each other. And without that, the world peace is not possible. And without the peace, the sustainable development is not possible. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry because,
You get your time.
Okay, no, but I'm very sorry. Today I have other program. I have to leave. I'm very sorry. I can leave my slide. It's a small slide, but this may be quite helpful, for you to maintain peace in your life and, think about the world, to have the, sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Leaving right now. Any questions with Professor Manandar, you can ask him now because he's about to leave. Any question? From the participant. Hello? Second time. Any question? Oh.
Samadhi is meditation. Meditation is what kind of it's a concentration. Meditation means, concentration. Means, unless and until we will be able to concentrate ourselves, our mind will not be controlled. It will be running here and there, and because of that, the chitta I talk about, the mind, you know, it will just go to the, evil, evil minds, ill things, because there are only 12 evil minds, but that will govern us. And, and we will not be in a position to maintain the peace in our life. If there is no peace in our life, our family will also not be peaceful. Take the example of a simple fan, because we are in the pivotal point, at the central point. If myself, take the example of myself, if I'm not peaceful, what I will do, I will be using the drugs, I will be using all the intoxication, I will be, doing all the, misconduct, the sexual misconduct, and I might be stealing the property of someone else. If that is the thing, what will be the impact to my family? My family will also suffer. Not only I will suffer, whole of my family will suffer. And when my family will suffer, what will happen in my society? The whole society will be suffer. When they will see me, what they will say, because of that guy. See, we are having the bad name, in our community, something like that. Therefore, look at ourselves. We will have the central point, pivotal point. Therefore, we should be correct. We should correct, or we should be, control our mind, and we should walk in a proper, path. Please, any question?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for listening to me.
That philosophy to maintain peace. But I do have a one question. Being a psychologist, psychology is application, behavior application. And I do have a one query. We cannot become Buddha, but we are wondering for peace.
Yes.
You are doing for maintaining peace. It is my own query.
Yeah. We are not the Buddha. We are not the Buddha. Hello. It's not easy to be Buddha, but remember, we are all the Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means the person in the way to be Buddha. We can be Buddha. We can be Buddha. If Siddhartha can be the Buddha, why not we? If one can achieve that, why can't we? We also can achieve. But we should have to practice. We should have to sacrifice, like the Siddhartha had done. But we have, all sort of cravings that we have. And because of that, we cannot satisfy, we cannot sacrifice. We need everything. We need all the property, we need, the family, we need everything. Everything we need. And because of that, we are not in the path to be the Buddha, but we are the Bodhisattva. Means there is the chances to be Buddha. Okay? And that we can start from the samadhi, that is meditation. My request to you all is please try to meditate. No matter, it might be the teaching of Buddha, it might be the teaching of anyone else, no problem. But, try to meditate, understand yourself, know your body. You can start by knowing your respiration. You can start by anywhere, but, you try to concentrate, in one point. That is one point concentration. And at certain level, even that point, you will just forget it. You will be, in such a vacuum that, you will feel real, the peaceful life at that moment. And because of that, you will have the sound sleep. And because of that, you will not have any anger, with anybody else, whatever problem you have, you can easily handle it because you will know yourself, you will know about your life, and this is my request also, to meditate. I am also doing the meditation and I have a very lot of good feelings, that I want to share with all of you to meditate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Manan.
I would like to request Manohar sir to present a token of appreciation to Professor Bajracharya.
Thank you, Professor Manan.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me leave now.
I will speak from here. Second speaker, Dr. Asif Singh from India. His title of presentation is Emotional Self-Awareness, Pathway to Great Leadership. You will get the same 10 minutes. Please keep attention to the time and time limit, and within time, please finish it. Please be seated. It takes time, I think. It is here. Or you can speak over there because it is sometimes it doesn't work properly. It is not there.
I think let the slides come. Till that time, we will start off. That's fine. For the slide changing, no, the slides have to be put up. Huh? Ashish Sen would be there. WWA is there. You see. Lead, self-awareness, lead pathway to leadership or something. So let me start off because I think the slides may take time. It doesn't really matter. If the slides are there, it would be really. You can, ma'am. No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Let me start off. First of all, again, I think we still are in the morning part. So good morning again. A very warm namaste again from India. Self-awareness. I think my predecessor talked about self-awareness, mindfulness, and in a very, very lucid manner. And he talked about Buddha, the enlightened one. Emotional self-awareness. What is its relationship to leadership? Does it have any relationship to leadership? If the leader is not aware of their emotions, they're playthings of emotions and can behave in an impulsive manner. That impulsive manner can impact in the workplace, in the place of your work. Who is the strongest seasoning in the work climate that you have? Is it the subordinate? Is it the boss? Or is it the peer? Who creates maximum part of the climate? Someday you may find the day sunny. Someday you may find the day cloudy. Who creates the climate? Leader, the boss. So if the boss has disruptive emotions, the climate becomes obnoxious. It has a stink that we cannot bear. You know how much of the leadership can create, what percentage of the climate is created by the leadership? Make a guess. What percentage of the climate is because of the leader in the workplace? You're close. Give him a round of applause. You're close. It's about 70%. And since 70, and this is research, famous research over decades across the globe by Hay Group and Conferry, started at Harvard. So we know from a ton of research that the leader can impact the climate up to 70%, which can impact the results up to 30%, business results. When we talk about sustainability, if human beings are an important and valuable resource, can you put them to such gross misuse? Is a question I leave you with. We talk about sustainability. Nowadays, we hear somebody is buying some company, are upset with the old valuation and says at Twitter, you need to work for 12 hours a day. A lot of people will go home, so on and so forth. If human beings are a resource, can you overwork them to such an extent that they decay instead of flower and flourish? Is a question I leave you with. So what can a leader do if they are not aware of their emotions and how it impacts the workplace? Because emotions are intents and causes for your actions which impact people at the workplace and beyond the workplace. So what can a leader do? I think the chair actually, she made a very wonderful remark. Anger helped us in survival. Is that what you said? It is true. So when I see a teacher in my younger days, if I had seen a teacher with a stick, I would not ponder to think whether she is in a good mood or a bad mood. I'd just make myself scarce from that room. If I see my boss in a good, with a scowl on his face, I would not ponder to think whether the boss is in a good mood or in a bad mood. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. So that helps me to survive the onslaught and bad behavior of a boss by making myself absent from the circumstances. This is what the human beings do. Their brain actually catches something that is threatening, something that is dangerous, something that they don't like, and create an emotion which compels you to act in a particular way. Now, if the boss understands that even before you are conscious, you have an emotion because of your subconscious thoughts, how do they manage those emotions? Because they're subconscious thoughts. How do they manage? For example, you get angry when somebody has come late and you blurt something as a boss. That blurting out impacts the person's mood and motivation for the full day, because you have said, not that the person has come late, you say you are a latecomer. You are not useful. How does the boss understand that they have to talk in a much more different way without anger on the person, but expressing displeasure about that incident? How do they learn to do that? Mhm. Okay. Okay. Can I have the slide changer, please? Okay. So
Okay, Dr. Singh, I'm sorry for the inconvenience from the organized on the behalf of.
not at all, ma'am. Not at all. I will go.
Okay, your time will be start from now. It's okay.
Oh, wonderful, ma'am. That's
Oh,
so.
oh.
Can I have the slide changer if I can have it? I will. So, is the slide changer available? Acha. Okay. Can we go to the next slides? Please go ahead. So as we were discussing, slides are changing. Acha, let it be visible on that screen also so that everybody can see that. Right. Okay. Thank you. Can we give them a big round of applause? They actually managed to not only hunt the slides, but actually operate them in a very meaningful way. So we can go ahead. This is some of my interactions with Daniel Goleman and others, not important for this presentation now. I think we will have to leave the slides. Doesn't seem to be working today. They're not in the best. Technology can be a great enabler, can be a great stumbling block, right? So we will leave if they can get through to it, that's fine. If not, that's fine. But one of the major findings that I want you people to think about is, how do you reduce the intensity of a disruptive emotion? For example, if somebody is making you angry, if somebody is making you unhappy, if somebody is making you irritated, how can you control the intensity of that emotion? Can you tell me how? By ignoring is one method. Absolutely. Give him a round of applause. That's there. But sometimes it's not possible to ignore. You are already caught in it. So the human brain, the amygdala, which is a piece in the brain which actually records and feels the emotions, its intensity, makes you mad or makes you irritated. It could be a range of emotions. The moment you can name that emotion, the intensity reduces significantly, almost to normal levels. So one of the things that you need to teach children or adults is actually to name the emotion. If you can name that emotion, the intensity of the emotion reduces, and very primarily, if we can show the slides there also. So the moment the emotion reduces, you actually are able to think with clarity, because amygdala, which is your emotional center, on two sides of the brain, in the emotional brain, two sides of the brain, two sides of the head, and is a part of the emotional brain. The moment you name the emotion, blood flows from that into your prefrontal cortex or your thinking center. Your thinking center restarts. In an emotional hijack, you are not able to think with clarity. But if you can name that emotion, the seat of action changes from your emotional center to your thinking center. Now you are capable of executive decisions, because if an executive is not aware of their emotions, they're helpless victims and playthings of their emotions. And that is where we later on say, what decision I have taken emotionally, right? I may not have you ever faced this? You sent an email and said, I should not have sent that email. I should have waited for 15 minutes, right? Or I may not have, yeah, so thank you. So as I said, the leadership styles impacts 50 to 70% of the climate. And the important part is 30% of the business results. Very importantly, if you see this, almost the teams which had great results, high results, with the segregated teams with poor results and best results, 80% of the leaders of the high performing teams are leaders who know their emotions moment to moment. And they know why they have those emotions. So self-awareness, emotional self-awareness is not nice to have. It is necessary to have for a leader. You cannot say, I don't know myself until I will lead the world. It's simply not possible. Leaders of poor performing teams, which are in the bottom quartile, the lowest performing teams, 80% of those, 83% of those leaders had low emotional self-awareness. They were victims rather than leaders. They had no business to be leaders. So we know that from an emotional construct, from a research construct, that emotional self-awareness is critical. Not only this, in fact, if you have high emotional self-awareness, out of the 12 competencies that have been mentioned by Daniel Goleman for leaders and effective managers, you have 10 or more. When you don't have emotional self-awareness, have you seen people who don't have emotional self-awareness? They don't know what kind of emotion they're in. For example, do you see people saying, I am not angry? These people have hardly any capability of managing their emotions and understanding others. A person who doesn't know himself or herself cannot understand or manage self. And therefore, the question of relationship does not arise, productive relationships. So we know that from a ton of research, this is true. People who are at the receiving end of incivility, who are talked not nicely, but impolitely, rudely, they cause a lot of loss to the organization. You can see from the slide, most of them, 80% lost work time worrying about the incident. Many of them want to avoid the offender, so on and so forth. So emotional self-awareness is critical. There's a business case. There's a business case. So I will leave this. Joseph Lido, who is one of the world's premier neuroscientists, found that this problem, that before you are aware, even before I know this is a slide changer, I know whether I like it or not. Emotions are faster than thought, because there is a shortcut in the brain which actually looks at a situation, place, or a thing or a person and gets an emotion, whether I like you or not like you, right? The trick is to name that emotion so that your thinking brain comes into play. Is this clear? So we know this from a lot of research, but the important part is, as I'm not only an academician, I also work with people. Is there truth in this truism? And that's where we did excellent work with a lot of Indian Oil, which is one of the largest companies in India, the second largest company in India in turnover, one of the big Fortune 500 companies. And we worked with their GMs and DGMs, and we helped 10 batches of general managers, DGMs, and location in charges in Indian Oil to actually learn how to name their emotions and manage their emotions. We also taught them strategies, but one of the major strategies is naming the emotion itself. The important part is they not only learned, they also practiced it by actually training their location people. So they went ahead, practiced it on their location people, also taught them these concepts and practice it at home. The results were fabulous. In survey that we did, we found that the subordinates found their managers to be more empathetic, more understanding, more in control of their emotions, and more productive to work with. It has been now listed at EI Consortium, one of the apex bodies where Goldman and others are there as a major research. We are now doing some work with Bahamalwari. Mr. Adiga sir is here, and sir, I would just request you. Mr. Adiga sir is chairman at a public sector company in India. So we are doing some work there. It is very interesting to see that after the training, if you see 81% of the people have said it has helped them to manage their disruptive emotions. These are senior people in the organization, general managers, DGMs, and above. Right? If you see here, subordinates have said, my boss has become more empathetic. The proof is in the eating of the pudding. And this proof, we had a lot of things, elements on which they were measured, but I'm just listing a few of them. Subordinates' response on improvement in employee development and intimacy and appreciation. We know that if we appreciate, what happens, ma'am, if we appreciate people? Can you tell me what happens when we appreciate people? Huh? Oh, okay. Who said happy? Can you stand up, ma'am? Give them a round of applause. How do you feel at this point of time? How do you feel at this point of time when others are, huh? Yeah. So actually employees, when appreciated and recognized, feel very happy. The motivation level goes up and a neurochemical called dopamine in your brain gets released, which makes you motivated to take on challenges. It's also involved in decision making. We know that from a ton of research, yet are stingy about appreciation and recognition. Is this clear? Right. So we did this. We helped them to actually improve their self-awareness by naming the emotion. We gave them vocabularies, a dictionary on emotions, so that they can actually see the dictionary and see what emotion they are in, keep a diary, reflect on the behaviors that they had with their subordinates, children. Many of them talked about how they used to get irritated when they saw their daughter or son watching a TV without analyzing that she was actually taking some rest after her studies. Because when they came back from office, they used to get irritated if they saw their son or daughter with sitting on the TV or on the computer. And they started reflecting and stopped treating your feelings as good or bad. They are merely useful or not useful in context, right? Anger has its own uses. Some other day, some other time we'll discuss. But the way you display it can be much more moderated. I think she gave an example. We have been teaching also at the colleges and at IIM Nagpur, TAPMEET, some of the very good institutes. The kind of response they have given and ratings they have given to the program was an eye-opener. They felt it is out of the world. It is something that would help them, which is not taught in the regular business curriculums. This makes them a more complete manager and a better leader. So I know I've heard the bell. Thank you so much. But I would be very happy to take questions. I think it is after this session. No. So if you would like to ask me some questions, I'd be.
Jens,
Please.
yeah, your queries, your comments are welcome. Dr. Sen is happy to answer your question.
Thank you, ma'am. Please. Yeah. So thank you. There was a lot of research, and Professor Matthew Lieberman and many others have been working on the brain scans. The brain today can be scanned when it is in action, and therefore we don't have to open it up, which was a big problem earlier, right? It is non-invasive. It is called fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging. As you name that emotion, the emotional center, which is your amygdala, actually, when you are in a state of heightened excitement, anger, unhappiness, so on and so forth, stores, releases neurochemicals from that because it's in a heightened state, it's in activated state. So there's a lot of blood flow in the amygdalas. The moment you name that emotion, what they saw is blood moves from the amygdala into your prefrontal cortex, which is your thinking center, emotion regulation center, empathy center, management center, and decision-making center. So now, because they are in an inverse relationship, your thinking and emotional brain, if one works, the other doesn't work very properly. Is this clear? So naming that emotion actually kickstarts your thinking brain and you become rational. You are aware of the emotion, you are aware of the cause, so you're not ignoring it. You are not ignoring it, but you see whether it makes sense. For example, today, if a boss says, I will kill you, it's a threat, but he can't kill you in a boardroom, right? So you can actually, because the brain doesn't understand the difference between a real threat and an imagined threat, it reacts the same way to an insult as to a spear hit, right? So now by using your thinking brain, cognitive brain, you can analyze the parameters and take into account the emotions and the reason for the emotion and come to a much more balanced decision. You are not ignoring your emotion, but you are not overplayed by it. Is it clear? So this is the biological methodology of naming that emotion. There are other methods. For example, his sir said you can ignore it. There are other methods. You can rethink about it. For example, if the boss says, I want to kill you, you made a pretty bad presentation, I could also think of it in a different way, because once you are aware of your emotion and the reason behind it, you can restructure the thinking, saying that my boss wants me to make the best presentation, therefore he wants me to put a lot of effort, which will then make you act towards the boss instead of a threat, as a person who is a resource, and ask, how could I do my presentation better? Restructuring thoughts is also possible, and only possible when you are aware of your emotions and understand why it has happened. Is this clear? Right? So it's very, very important. The first step is you know your emotions. Next is know the reasons behind your emotions. And if you can understand the impact of those actions which arise from those emotions, your emotional self-awareness is complete. You can get into regulation. Yes, any other question? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dr. Sen, for your research-oriented presentation, can I ask one question? I found, because you are talking about the leadership, I found the organization train the leader for the profession, and that leader qualities, they do have emotional intelligence, blah, blah, everything which are in the leadership, because I don't like to say all the thing, but it is not his true personality. It is a professional leader. But I do have one question. Do you find a person who's self-made leader, or he is more leader through tradition and culture specific practices? Do you find like that? Who is inborn leader? Some are saying inborn leader, or they are self-made leader.
Inborn leader. Cultures can promote leadership practices. That's not inborn. Second, inborn leaders. This has been a research going on. Great leaders, great people. King's son will be a better leader. Nobody could ever prove it. Till about maybe a decade back, when they came up with a gene called RS, I think 4950 at London, if I'm not mistaken. It gave you a propensity to be able to take charge in uncertain situations more than others. But we know that genetic dispositions can at best guarantee 23%. 77% is still in your hands. And if you have gone to the doctor, many of you go to the doctor, suppose I have diabetes. The doctor says, did your mother have it? Did your father have it? So I say yes. He says, you have to be careful. If you do these things, chances are you will survive much longer. So you can change your genes by epigenetics, which is passed on. You are not even your genes. So I believe leadership are learned abilities, not traits that are inborn. Anybody can learn. Anybody can learn. So that's my answer. Thank you. Self-made is also self-taught, but they learn from the environment. Thank you. Yeah, they are good practices. Yes, absolutely. Cultures also teach. Cultures also teach. Absolutely. Yeah. But absolutely, they learn and they teach and they solve problems. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, no, it's a pleasure. Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Man.
Voice is so loud. He does. I do that.
Hello? Dr. Lula, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Just a moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can.
Greetings to all of you, and thank you so very much for inviting me. Really, I'm very honored and very grateful to be here. I am Professor Enkelida Lulay from State of the Kosovo. I work at the University Hagi Zeka Faculty of Management in Tourism, Hospitality and Environment. I am Professor of Finance and Accounting. Today I am going to talk more about managing financial stress in the pandemic era, education technology analysis, and I will make a relation with my paper published in Web of Science. As my time is limited, I will speak quickly. And what next? So in this slide, you will learn more about general information related to financial stress, new point of view, the change in the basic attitude, learn a special skill, conclusion and recommendation, question and answer. What next? So what about emotional intelligence or management of human resources or information technology, world peace, COVID-19? As I mentioned before, I will make a relation with my case study, my paper related to financial stress. Next, in this slide, you will learn more about example related to world peace. So world peace could mean equal human rights or technology or free education for everyone or engineering or availability of medicine, diplomats, and to all form of fighting. And what about example information technology? So is the use of computer systems or devices to access information. And what about emotional intelligence? So is defined as the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotions of those around you. And next, as you can see, is the road, and it's related to components of emotional intelligence with examples. Example number one is the factor number one. Please keep in mind, because it's very important to know more and to how to manage our emotions. Example, emotional self-awareness or achievement orientation or organizational awareness or conflict management, coach, mentor, and it's very important as well, teamwork, how to create a culture and how to build a successful in teamwork or in team group. And what next? So what about top priorities of human resources professionals? Please, it's very important for all of us as a leader, as a manager, as a professor, and so on. Example, as a sub-factor, number one, employee well-being or employee engagement or productivity or diversity and technology adoption or attracting top talent, social media governance or staff turnover, workplace cost cutting, developing leaders, and so on. And it's very important as well to know more about top 10 human resources practices in faculty, in businesses, and so on. Example, a safe, healthy, and happy workplace, or performance-linked bonuses, or fair evolution system for all, or knowledge sharing with others, example related to our fields, and it's very important as well, rewards, and so on. And what next? What about human resources missions developed? It's very, very important factors. Example, what about develop? So an attitude of teamwork and quality in our day-to-day operation. Respect. What about respect? team member values that may be different from our own? Or what about increase participation in company, in business and community activities? Or what about communicate in a candid and fair manner with a diverse workforce? And what about create an atmosphere that fosters challenges, fun, and safety, and clean lines? And what next? So what about impact of digital on human resources processes? As you can see in this figure, you will learn more about 5 factors: recruitment or learning and development in each sectors, in businesses or employer branding and performance management. And what next? What about key human resources challenges? It's very important technology, because we are living in different difficult times, with example with pandemics. So legislation is very important as well, or evaluating work and family rules and skills shortage, rise of the service sector, rapid change, and workforce diversity, as well as globalization is very, very important as a key related to human resources challenges. And what next? So what about world peace? As you can see in this slide, the 3-level theoretical frameworks to define the peace. Example, an individual peace within the human person, or social peace, relationships between peoples and social groups. And it's very important as well, political peace, ethical values, political infrastructures, and accountability of actors and institutions in charge of peace and security in each area, in each countries. And what next? As I mentioned before in this presentation, I will make a relation with my case study conducted in my country related to financial stress. How to manage financial stress? Does this financial stress affect students' performance? Example. And what about money? So as I'm a professor of finance, so I will speak more about money and related to stress. Example, money and finance play a very important role in our lives, in our society, in our family. And what about COVID-19, so this way of learning is being used in every country, including my country of the world, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And what about relationship between financial technology challenges and online learning? So financial technology is the technology and innovation that aims to compete with traditional financial methods in the delivery of financial services. And what next? In this slide, you will learn more about education and related to financial situation and e-learning as well. So education brings a natural and lasting change in an individual reasoning and ability to achieve their target goal. So it's very important. Please keep in mind one quotes related to finance and financial stress and emotional intelligence. Example, poor spending habits lead to poverty. If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things that you need. And what next? So in this slide, you can see a relation between online learning performance, students, financial stress, households, COVID-19, and university, as well as you can see 3 factors related to this paper published in Web of Science and Scopus. Example, the factor number 1, the financial impact on the new teaching and learning environment, or MMN, or the financial impact and problems related to lack of dedication to learning, or PMPM, and stresses from COVID-19 related to financial learning factors, or SES. And what next? What about the purpose of this research or collection of data, methods, hypotheses, and results in the next slides? So the main purposes and objectives of this research is the correlation between the financial stress factors and the educational teaching factors in students at Kosovo's university during online learning. Do these factors correlated with each other, and do they affect students' performance, as I mentioned before? So methods is correlation analysis. So what about results and discussion? You will learn more in the next slides. And what next? So in this slide, you can see one methods related to these factors, as I mentioned before. Example, what about PMPM? So in these factors, you will see 7 sub-factors, or example, isolation problem related to COVID-19, or study problems, or problems with employment, or problems with family and relation with others, or problems with careers due to funding reasons, and so on. And what about example SES factors? As you can see, these factors has 5 sub-factors, or example, financial stress for payments, or delay in graduation, or delays in assignment, research, and so on, social isolation, etc. And what next? So in this slide, you will learn more about some factors related to emotional intelligence, human resources, and financial stress. So example, financial impact on the new teaching and learning environment, or financial problems, work and relation with studies, or financial and emotional importance of online learning since the COVID-19, or financial impact and country supports for students. And as you can see, what is the right choice or what is the wrong choice related to this topic? So what about results related to financial impact on the new teaching and learning environment? So the financial impact for students and for all of us and their families for the reasons COVID-19 in the new teaching and learning environment in order to meet the conditions to continue online learning have been increased. In this case, higher education is also facing various challenges in the process of transforming the new teaching and learning environment, or MMN. And as you can see, sorry, in this table, you will learn more about sub-factors related to this, factors. So the correlation in the highest percentage of 19% is the variables MMM number 1 with the variables MMM number 3, which means that if students do not have concentration during online learning, the performance will decrease or vice versa. And what about another factors? Example, financial impact and problems related to lack of dedication to learning, or PMPM. So during using the online platform, there are some elements which can be considered barriers to new teaching and learning environment for students, such as delayed response by students, professors, or teachers are not available.
Sorry for interruption. Your time has finished.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Please summing up your presentation.
In this slide, you can see some recommendation related to this topic. So there should be study commitment for students by professors and teachers. There must be financial condition to all students, to all families, and condition must be created for MMN or new teaching and learning environment. There should be information from professors or teachers how to exams and tests will be conducted, and stress factors should be removed. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much once again for inviting me. It was a great pleasure. If you have any question, feel free to ask me. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Luja, for your very organized research paper and beautiful presentation. I will ask the audience if they do have any queries or comments to your presentation. Any questions, audience? Any question to Dr. Luja? Any question? Any more questions? No. Thank you, Dr. Luja, once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you so much.
Hello. I would like to present Dr. Lula with a digital certificate. Now, can you see the certificate?
Yes, thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Luja, we
cannot hear you though.
We are presenting you an appreciation certificate for your presentation. Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Yes,
Luja?
yes, I can see. Thank you so
hear
much.
me? Okay, thank you once again.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure. Really, I'm very honored.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, I'd like to request our Norris sir to present token of appreciation to Dr. Ashish Sen. Thank you. Now, I would like to request Manohar sir to present token of appreciation to our chair, Professor Dr. Usakiran Subba. Thank you. Now we'll be having our technical sessions parallelly in Hall 1 and Hall 2. Hall 1 is on my right side and Hall 2 you can find upstairs. Thank you, everyone.